Hey Cancer, Cancer rising, let's take a look at the astrology for May 2025 and how it's impacting your zodiac. So, there are a couple of changes happening. Let's kick off with May the 4th, where Pluto goes retrograde. So, Pluto will go retrograde at 3 degrees of Aquarius and it will go direct in October the 13th at 1 degree of Aquarius. So, this is going to be happening for a good couple of months. Now, Pluto retrograde happens every year. Nothing to stress about. It's just the natural cycle of life and how the astrology transits impact us. Now, Pluto retrogrades in the 8th house. I mean, Pluto is at home in the 8th house. When it's retrograde, it's just a deeper transformation, deeper delving into the psyche, the unconscious, the shadows, the underworld, things that are buried, things that are hidden, just a much more profound, almost like soul digging in a way with Pluto in the 8th house. And when it's in its retrograde motion, there's a slowing down in this area of life. There's a deeper reflection. There's deeper realizations. There's more reassessing. Really coming to terms with a lot of things. It's just a very spiritually profound time. The 8th house has a mundane manifestation, but then also a very deep spiritual manifestation. The mundane manifestation is shared finances and resources. You got the intimacy. You got taking the 7th house to a much more deeper, evolved journey in a way, you could say. And then the other side of the 8th house is more of the esoteric, the more mystical, magical, spiritual side, where there could be a lot of spiritual transformation that occurs, a lot of soul spiritual awakenings that occur here, really being in tune with the mystical side of things. So it's a very convoluted area of life, many layers, just like Pluto. But because Pluto is in Aquarius, freedom is behind all of this. Doing that deep soul searching, going through the dark night of the soul, going through the underworld in order for freedom, in order to free yourself, liberate yourself, to become more independent. So that could be one of the main themes of Pluto being in retrograde in the 8th house. It's not going to impact everyone the same way. Look at your chart. Look at if you have any fixed planets in the early degrees. So if you have any early Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, or Taurus, this energy will impact you the most. Or if you have anything in your 8th house in general that is in the first couple of degrees of Aquarius. Now let's move on to May the 10th when Mercury enters Taurus. So Mercury will enter Taurus and it will move into your 11th house of friends, groups, networking, your social life, hopes and visions for the future. So during this time, you can be very social, out and about with friends. There's a lot of socializing, networking, thinking ahead about, your hopes and wishes for the future. Something to be mindful of this energy is that as soon as it moves into Taurus, it will be in a challenging aspect with Pluto, and then Mars is also in Leo. So you got to be mindful of any power struggles or ego battles with other people regarding whether it's like at work or with somebody in a more authoritative position, or whether it's with friends, people or groups you're involved with, or even when it comes to your self-worth or even what you own. There could be some triggers here, but that also means that there's always an opportunity to grow from them and evolve from them. But aside from that, the Taurus energy is very grounded, very practical, and when it's in your 11th house, it's very social, and when it conjuncts Uranus, it's going to be very exciting, and there could be just a lot of things that happen that really excite you and are fascinating, and, you can be very eccentric during that time, so, there's a really nice positive side to this as well. Let's move on to the full moon in Scorpio that occurs on May the 12th. Now, this is going to occur at 22 degrees of Scorpio. The sun will be in Taurus conjunct Uranus, meaning the moon will be in an opposition with the sun and Uranus. So this could be a time where a lot of things change. There could be a lot of drastic changes, a lot of strong emotions that come up and you're just not expecting them at all. Now, with this full moons already give us a window to do a lot of soul healing, spiritual transformation. It's time to let go, release. Things can come to fruition, come to a conclusion. And with this full moon in Scorpio in the 5th house, especially, it has to do with like what brings out your inner child, what makes you happy. The 5th house has to do with joy and happiness, your creativity, your self-expression. This could also have to do with relationships as well. So there could be a deeper manifestation to this. This could be a time where you could even do some like childhood healing or shadow work during this time, transformation. This could have to do with relationships a lot, because Juno will be in a conjunction with the Scorpio full moon, and Juno is known as the goddess of commitment and marriage. So perhaps something really significant or profound happens or changes regarding relationships, regarding somebody you're romantically involved with. That could be a major change. This could also impact friendships and groups, because that's where the Sun and Uranus will be, your hopes and visions for the future. But it's going to be a very spiritually heightened time, a very emotionally profound time as well. And there could be a lot of unexpected changes, shifts, dramatic changes and shifts that occur. But ultimately, it's about releasing. It's about transforming, and it has to do with your 11th and 5th house. May the 20th, the Sun enters Gemini. So the Sun will be in your 12th house. Now, the Sun doesn't enjoy being in the 12th house because the Sun wants to shine. The Sun is the outer self, whereas the 12th house is more secluded, it's more isolated, it's more hidden, it's more unseen. So even though the Sun doesn't enjoy that, you may enjoy that, because as a Cancerian, you have a lot of similarities to the 12th house, where you enjoy being at home in the comfort of your own home, and you sometimes can be very introverted and keep to yourself or those that you trust the most. So with the Sun in Gemini, we're also going to have Mercury that enters Gemini on May the 25th. We also have a new moon in Gemini on May the 26th. They're all going to impact your 12th house. Remember, Jupiter is also here. So this has to do with more the subconscious. This has to do with dreams. This has to do with past. You can even get deeper and get into past lives, emotions, sensitivities, empathy, creativity, expression, the divine, your spirituality, intuition. So there could be a lot of developments there. You can feel very creative. You can really channel a lot of your creative gifts and abilities during this time. Something can change significantly in your spirituality. There could be like this heightened intuition during this time, a lot of downloads coming through, very symbolic dreams, great for journaling, dream journaling. There's a lot of focus on spirituality, intuition, spirituality in terms of not only your connection with, higher self or the universe or what you believe in, such as God or the divine, but also spirituality in terms of like healing and channeling the depths of self, depths of the soul, whether that's through expressing it in a creative form or not. So that could be huge for you during this time. However, something I need to mention is both Saturn and Neptune will be in a conjunction during this new moon in Gemini. Neptune is already in Aries, and Saturn will change signs from Pisces to Aries on May the 24th. And it will go retrograde, so it's not going to stay entirely in Aries this year, but we are getting a bit of a sneak peek and a bit of a taste of what's to come. With Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house, there's a lot of focus on career goals and ambitions, and also authority. And this is also where you can find your sense of self as well. Even though you're more of a 4th house person, there's a lot of energy now in your 10th house, so it's stripping away any false layers, stripping away anything you're romanticizing, anything you're escaping from, breaking, shattering rose-tinted glasses, and really coming into yourself and being aware of responsibilities, duties, where you need to take accountability, where you need to channel being the wise sage. And it can bring a lot of realizations. That can be a lot to comprehend, but it's going to help to evolve yourself and grow into who you're meant to become. So there could be a lot of stuff that comes up regarding career, regarding an authority figure. This could even have to do with like ancestral healing if we look at it from more of a esoteric point of view. But if we stick on to the mundane aspect of this, you can feel like you have a lot of responsibilities that you have to kind of tackle and navigate through. You can feel this energy be very, very heavy, but It's really going to shift and shake you and help you become the more mature version of yourself and help you to restructure your life. And it's going to help you to really grow into self. So Cancer, Cancer rising, take care this month, and I will speak with you soon.